and obviously it makes me so happy, but at the same time, it's unfortunate, right? Because this is a lot of people's norm.
Yeah.
This is a lot of people's norm to be treated by people who look like them. And for us, that's not the case. And I think a lot of people worry, am I going to get treated properly? Am I going to get treated, fairly? Am I going to get the right treatment?
Message.
Because I'm black,
Real.
And so I think that was part of her anxiety.
I got to jump in real quick, Doc. Your father worked at Lincoln. Let me tell you something. We from the Bronx. Be clear. Yeah. We from the Bronx, right? Before we even worry about what color the doctor is, it's what hospital you taking us.
Yeah.
And for what? And for what? If I get shot, I'm going to Lincoln.
If I get shot, do not take me to Jacob. Like,
go to Lincoln. Stop. Just go straight to Lincoln. Any bullet wound, stab wound.
I don't care what the doctor look like. We worried about the hospital. Like, where you taking me? I'd rather, no, send me home. Because
my chest hurt. I'm going to Einstein.
I'm being honest with you, Doc. Like,
you're right.
Yeah, the stigmatisms be on the hospital themselves.
Yeah, that's true.
Before you even get to see what the doctor or the nurse look like.
Right.
What does the building have? Like I said, we from the Bronx, the big, Lincoln, big orange building, 149. Most of us been there a bunch of times, but be honest with you, like the level of care that you get at Lincoln versus, let's say, an Einstein or Jacoby, it's completely different. It's completely different. I'm being honest with you, right? Bronx, Lebanon, in the Congo. Right. So a lot of times the stigmatism is actually placed on the hospital itself. And I want to talk about that because, again, we talk about education. Some of these centers are trauma centers, right? Some of these centers are specialized in childbirth, prenatal. Each hospital is different. But you will end up not going to the place where you should go, that they actually have the best technology or the best people, the best care, because of the stigmatism that's put on the actual building itself.
Right.
Like it's a lot that we're dealing with over here.
There's a lot. Yeah. There's a lot. And sometimes you just, you're so overwhelmed, you don't know where to begin. Like, what's the root of the problem? But you're right. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, when you think about New York City, like all hospitals are not created equal, unfortunately. So it's one thing with like the person who's treating you, but yeah, like what about the building in which they work? That's very true. So there are stigmas with certain, or I'll say reputations, maybe.
Yeah.
With certain hospitals and things. So it's tough. And the fact that like
patient care. Overall patient care on just a regular basis, right? If I go to the ER for something like, the flu or COVID or something, and I'm there damn near 48 hours, they got me sitting on a gurney in the hallway or something, like, it's no way if I have something serious, I'm going back to that hospital now. Like, you understand? Like, why would I do that? If you treated me like this for the major stuff, why would I go back to, like, it's a lot, Doc. I ain't gonna lie.
But that goes back to the earlier question. How do you get your referrals, right? If I'm a primary care physician, right? Who do I decide to get my referral to? Is it based on the work, based on what other customers or patients have said and all that? How do you make sure that you're top of mind for those referrals?
I mean, it's based on symptoms, primarily, but you gotta, that's why having a relationship with the people who will be referring to you is really important. When you treat your people well, and meaning like the patients that they send to you, and you know what you're talking about, right? Obviously, you have to be competent, are important. But I'll say the majority, and where I work, I'm looking at my window right now. Where I work, not necessarily predominantly Black, but like the majority of my patients are women, and the majority of patients, particularly for Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis, are Black. And I don't think that that's a coincidence. I mean, people will say, I had a patient today who said, I waited 2 years to see you.
What?
I mean, and I was like, 2 years? I mean, I know it's hard to get an appointment, but I think the point is that people are willing, if they can, right? And sometimes when they shouldn't, are willing to wait to get the doctor that they think will hear them, see them, understand them, have shared experiences with them. And so that's why we need more people who look like us. And not to say that every Black and brown doctor, every female doctor is going to treat a female or black and brown patient, you know, the same or how they want to be treated. But there's definitely something to that.
Yeah, man, I can hear the passion when you talk about it. So like now I get excited about it. But now you said earlier about the sacrifice, right? So we need more Black doctors to be in the room. We need more Dr. Sophies, right? Tell them about the sacrifice that you made to even get to this point, because they have to understand that, right? Mm-hmm. Like, what are some of those? Like you said, you're missing the birthday parties, you're missing that. Like, tell us some of the most difficult times and how you got through that, because it is a difficult journey, but it's one that's needed. So we need them to know exactly what this looks like.
Yeah, I think it's a long road. I'll say after 4 years of college, it's 4 years of medical school. Now sometimes it's 3, depending on the medical school you choose, but 4 years of medical school. And then it's 3 years of internal medicine residency. So you're still training, but you're getting paid very minimally. But you hands-on training, like you're working, but you're also learning. And then after that, it's 3 years of GI training, which is called fellowship. So it's basically about 10 years after college. But it's like the prime of your life. You're in your 20s. I mean, I went straight through, meaning I didn't take any breaks or take time off. So it's like you're in your 20s. It's the time to be having fun. You know, or entering adulthood, but like you're not really. But so I think that that's hard for friends that you have that are not in the medical field to kind of understand what you're going through and understand what you're seeing. Like you're seeing people die, you're in people's bodies. Like, you know, you're doing stuff that's just, you have to have a certain mindset and maturity for, and you have to learn very quickly how to have difficult conversations with people about their family members dying, about having serious illness, about all those things. And not everything is taught. Some things you have to learn as you go. And that's really a lot of sacrifice, I think, both physically and financially and emotionally. You know, the stats aren't good for mental health issues and suicide with doctors. And I think a lot of that has to do with the training and the life.
Damn. I never thought about the suicide rate for doctors. So
it's definitely higher than the average person.
But what do you do to balance that out, to make sure you don't bring the work home? Like, what do you do? What is your getaway? What's your escape?
I exercise. I love to run. I've always loved to run. I think it's a great escape.
Shit.
Does that mean you don't know?
I'm sorry, Doc. I'm gonna let you go. When you talk about running, I'm like,
hate it.
It's good. We're gonna start it, bro.
I'm sorry. I ran the last couple of days and I said to myself, how does anybody like this shit? Like
more than a title marathon.
You cannot. When motherfuckers that run these marathons and these 5Ks, I commend y'all. Y'all runners, y'all a special breed. I can't.
I love it.
I can't.
It is a huge stress relief.
Right.
I mean, just like, you know, my husband's a doctor, but I think that at the same time, though we can understand each other and understand that language, I think travel has taken my mind off. It's the best way to just like disconnect for sure. I gotta get away. I think a lot of doctors don't take their vacation. I take all the vacation. I take all the vacation.
Method.
Yes.
Take them. They there.
That's right. That's right.
Oh God.